Good morning, Professor. My name is Chloe. Today, I'm very happy to have a chance to present the top trends in information technology. My presentation has three parts. The first part, I will talk a little bit about information technology. The second part is my main part. I will choose the top 10 trends in information technology. The third part, I will choose the most critical trend from my perspective and explain the reasons why I choose this trend. So let's start with the first part, information technology. So actually the application of information technology is very familiar and popular for the every customer right now. Like the customer can play the Pokemon Go, or the customer can interact with the brand through the chatbot in the Facebook. However, from the business perspective, 70% of technological initiative cannot accomplish the organizational expected goals because a lot of reasons. So my main purpose today is to present the key component of the top 10 trend information technology. It can provide some hint or some guidance for the companies to apply the information technology successfully within their company. So in this slide, I already showed the name of the top 10 trends. I already research and select from the several sources. So in the top 10 trend, I will divide it into two different groups. The first group is the customer and the second group is the company. From the customer group, this trend is more familiar with the customer, especially like the chatbot on the Facebook using the AI, or the extended reality when the customer playing the Pokemon Go, or 3D printing. However, the other side, the company group, that one is not familiar with the customer because it cannot add directly value to the customer. However, it can help the company to improve the internal communication, and sometimes they can have to improve the application of the first group. So let's start with the first group, the customers group. In this slide, I combine the big data and the AI into one slide because actually the big data is the input of the AI. Like if the company have more data, they can fill into the machine and it can have to train the algorithm more effectively. For big data, like I take an example of Netflix. When we watch Netflix, we can see that Netflix recommended a lot of show and film is really suitable to your interest, and that is the application of big data. So big data can help the company to understand the customer insight, and of course the company can serve the customer better and can provide the more customized product to the customer. So when the company can have a lot of useful the customer insight, they can input to the AI machine, and it can have the AI to build a algorithm more customized and more interaction with the customer. About big data, actually big data really help the company to gain a lot of investment. It can have to return 7 times the initial investment amount. However, I want to emphasize that the big data cannot give any valuable to the company if the big data cannot analyze and turn them into actionable plans. So if company want to invest in big data, they have to think about the human resources, the people have ability to understand the big data and turn them into pattern and actionable plans. For the AI actually for the AI really need a lot of money to invest in AI. However, the every return on invest only 1.3%. So compared to other technologies, you can see that very small ROI. However, you can see that in this graph, you can see like the company can, if the company can become a leader within the industry, they can receive a very significant increase in terms of ROI. So that's the reasons why the company invested a lot of capital into AI, because they want to become a leader within in this industry. About blockchain, actually when we hear about blockchain, only think about the Bitcoin, but actually Bitcoin only one application of the blockchain. I can give you an example, another example, how the Walmart to use blockchain to help them to improve the internal activity. Like the Walmart already ship a lot of product from the origin to the destination, so it can involve a lot of party like the trucking, like the manufacturing into transportation purpose. So Walmart collaborated with DLR Lab. They applied the blockchain, and it can collect and track the movement of the product during the transportation. So it can have to easily to resolve invoice mismatch between Walmart and outside parties. For blockchain, the investment of blockchain will vary a lot, and actually the average approach is very high compared to the AI. In this graph, I want to highlight one point, that even the company build the blockchain platform, or the company does this existing platform, or the company only added some feature, added some value into existing platform, this type of company can increase the return on investment. I want to really emphasize that one. In the next slide, I will talk about extended reality. Actually, extended reality very familiar with the user, like especially for someone playing Pokemon Go. However, the extended reality can apply for the manufacturing industry, like the automotive companies. They already create a virtual environment to test the car and can detect the manufacturing error very quickly. For investment in extended reality, so for extended reality, they can calculate the number of hours they need to create the application during the extended reality. So it depends on the complexity of the application. You can calculate the hour and can plus to the salary, can so easily to know the investment amount needed. For the return on investment of extended reality, because extended reality really add very interesting experience to customers, so company can easily to receive the gain in a very short time compared to another application like the big data or the AI. Or 3D printing. 3D printing is not only for producing some 3D object for fun. Now 3D printing can use in mass production of car parts like the Ford brand, or can to speed up the prototyping process. So 3D printing, to join the 3D printing in our trend, the company of course need to buy a 3D printer. The price of printer will be very a lot depending on the function of printer and the needed material to use in printer. And company need to think about the software such as AutoCAD. The company how to pay the subscription fee for the software company. And for the as I already mentioned before, because 3D printing can use in manufacturing, so it can reduce production costs and reduce the lead time to produce a prototype. So that is the most important benefits when the company can use 3D printing within the manufacturing. So now we can train into the second group, the companies group. The first one, the Internet of Things. So Internet of Things can easily understand like the ability of device to communicate with each other during some embedded sensors. So the data within the company can streamline, so everyone can access to the source, and the data can be transparent. So that is the most important benefits of the Internet of Things. So to join this trend, the investment amount can vary based on the number of device the company use data, and there are this table shows the expected fee the company need to pay every month if they use several vendors, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, or IBM to use the IoT. For the ROI, because the IoT can have to streamline the data, so it can easily to increase the return on investment, because every function can access to the same source of data and the data is more transparent. It can reduce a lot of conflict and communication and conflict data. For the 5G, 5G is actually a cellular technology, and it cannot be standalone to add value to customer, but it can have transmit data quicker within the organization and can support other technology, especially for the AI or big data. So to join the 5G trend, the company had to buy some devices, and of course how to buy the business plan for the another vendor. So because 5G cannot stand alone to add value to the customer and bring the value to the company, so it really very challenging to separate the gain, to separate the revenue from the 5G and the application of 5G in another technology. So it's very challenging to measure the accurate ROI when applying the 5G. Internationalize the cloud computing and quantum computing. So actually, like Google Drive is the application of cloud computing. For the quantum computing, actually quantum computing is very special computer and make a special type computer. That computer can run faster than traditional computer. So, but however, quantum computing is not commercially sold right now in the market. It's like in the very early state of developing quantum computing. For the cloud computing, of course, it can have an employee within the organization can easily access to the data from through the internet, and it can have the company to save money because the company don't need to invest in the server. However, the company have to pay money for the cloud server platform. So for the return on invest, you can see that from the research, from the nuclear research, cloud computing have to receive 1.7 times more ROI than traditional deployment. About quantum computing, because quantum computing is only in the early state of developing. However, the quantum computing can have to speed up the speed of the algorithm in AI, or can have to reduce R&D cost. Right now, it doesn't have any estimated ROI. However, but it can create a value many billion dollars in the next 15 and 30 years. Cybersecurity, yeah, actually because like cybersecurity is really not important right now, because when the company have to suffer cyber attack, it really have a lot of hidden cost when the company have to suffer cyber attack or data leakage. About the investment in cybersecurity, like it depends on the type of software the company use. It can have a separate the tariff price for the investment amount. So you can refer to this table. So for my perspective, the big data is the most critical trend for the company to apply and can help the company to put their business performance, because the big data can that's a solution for the any business side or industry. Is not like the AI, and it can help to reduce a lot of costs, especially like the marketing cost, because the company can understand the customer insight. And actually, the big data not only for the business analysis, it can be for everyone, because now we have a lot of software like Tableau can help you to visualize data and can recognize the pattern for the customer insight. However, the big data has three critical things related. Big data is data privacy and the layer qualified analysis. So I want to emphasize that the big data cannot have valuable things if the company doesn't have anyone to analyze data and turn them into actionable plan. So actually, you see that the big data, not only big data, a lot of information technology trend can bring a lot of profile benefits to organization, and the boundary of the application of technology is unlimited. However, technology changes very quickly and dramatically, and you don't know which is a trend in the future. So the company need to have to think of from the business viewpoint to see how they want to drive the business before they want to implement any trends in information technology within their company. Last but not least, the reference slide of the following the APA style. So I'm really thank you, Professor, to spend your time to watching my video. Thank you so much.